Hello and welcome to Tome Travellers, a read-along book club podcast. I'm Lisa.
I'm Kara.
And I'm Becks.
And this week we are still in Texas.
This week we're reading Cowboy Dragon by Terry Bolryder, chapters 10 to 18. And in quick summary, we've got some sex in a shack, and not one, but two I love yous. Should we get into it?
Let us get into it.
Yeah, I'd bound you. Wow.
It's the juicy bit, or should I say the first juicy, saucy bit. It's what we've all been waiting for.
Yes, Elisa, I understand that you wanted to talk about the sex.
So yes, I think it would be wise to begin with what we leap straight in. We are straight in to the sex. Like the first kind of 2.5 chapters of this section, basically sex. And then there's a little extra bit a little bit further along. It's like, oh, yeah. like we are in there. It's happening. Yeah. Right.
There's definitely there's some P and V happening.
It's P in V, yes. Very large P in V.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Very tight V.
Yes. Sheer girth, I think.
Yeah. That is a direct quote.
Yes.
So, although,
yes.
Just having said that we get straight into the sex, we don't get quite straight into the sex. There was a horrifying moment on the first page of chapter 10 or the second page where he was like, wait, what are we doing? Yeah. And I just panicked because I was like, wait, are we not going to get sex? But we did. It's okay.
It's okay. We did just a little minor wobble. So yeah, I've got some notes here that I made, and I'm just going to throw these things out, and I'd love to know what you two think of these things. So I did enjoy the excellent focus on her pleasure.
Yes.
Yes, it was all about her, which was good. It wasn't just banging away, so that's nice. Excellent responsible use of condoms.
Yes, I wrote a note for that. I put condom, good dragon.
Yeah. It was quite a surprise.
The one thing I did notice was that he never actually asks her what she likes.
No, there's not much communication. No.
I mean, it seems that she is totally, going with what he's putting down or putting in.
Yeah, she's into it.
It's very enthusiastic consent.
Yeah.
I just think it was kind of weird, and there was something that I sort of picked up that sort of travelled over from chapter 9 when she kisses him and he comments on it as being inexperienced, and yet she's had many other boyfriends.
Yes, that was weird. Wasn't
that weird? And then, she's never had a guy go down on her once.
Yeah.
I did enjoy that because there's something about Harrison has an extraordinary sense of smell. The dragons have an extraordinary sense of smell because when in the first chapter Marian's car is smoking in the distance.
Oh yes.
They know that it is engine oil that is causing that because they can sniff it.
I think it's Reno the Wolf who mentions that actually.
Oh, maybe it is because they do have a very good sense of smell. But all I could think was it's kind of like when you meet a dog and have you ever had that where a dog just shoves its schnoz in that area? Yeah. You're right in your crotch and you're like, you have an extraordinary sense of smell. I'd have thought that would be a place you wanted to avoid. But clearly, the people with the amazing sense of smell are all about the crotch.
And it's where all the pheromones are and all the sexy stuff, I guess.
All the sexy stuff. Yeah. And the humans are like, bleh!
Human cis males.
Human cis men. So yeah, I picked that out as well. But I did think it was just another excuse for Harrison to be very negative about humans.
Yes, absolutely, and to be down, especially on all of the previous men that she's dated, and that seems to be a little bit of a recurring theme. His kind of growing kind of jealousy and possessiveness,
Yes.
or protectiveness, she's calling it, but
yes, red flag.
Yeah. I did like, except for the thing I mentioned last week, and I called it, and it does come up, mates.
Yes, that is something that I wanted on my list of things.
Yeah,
Mate,
I called
my
it.
dragon growls. Mate.
Yeah.
And so the protectiveness sort of, is it less of a red flag because of the supernatural element? You know, like, can you therefore, as a writer, get away with writing that sort of man?
By making it more
giving,
animal.
Yeah, and giving women who don't want to think about such things in real life, because that would be extraordinarily icky. But in supernatural smutty books, you can kind of go, yeah, I want a man to be like really possessive and jealous of me.
Punch out any man that looks at me. Yeah, and yes, one little throwaway comment as well was, I was like, this seems unnecessary. I don't know why it's written in here. But describe her knickers, and it said, of course they were pink.
Yes,
well, of course.
But of course they're pink. But why? Because she is not like other girls.
No, she's not like other girls. So why would they be pink?
Yeah. I was like, that's strange.
It's very contradictory. But also, what did we enjoy about the other thing about the knickers? The claw popped out.
Yeah.
But I just harking back to what you were talking about last time, is like, he seems to be like, he did it deliberately. It was a choice to flick so he could cut the pants, rather than it being a result of his overwhelming desires that he can't control his passion, so his dragon popped out.
It was a very it was very much shifting by choice, and at a place that she wouldn't see, and it was very sneaky. Yes, there was no accidental popping of a wing. I was very disappointed.
I mean, I was personally quite worried about the fact that he might become all dragon. It was like, ow.
Yes. Yeah. Is it scaly? Do you think it's scaly?
I think going into the other chapters, it probably depends on what kind of dragon they are.
Yes.
Good point.
Well,
because also, I mean, we already know that he is girthy, but what size is it when he's a dragon?
Yeah.
Is his human form the equivalent of being very cold? And when he's dragon form,
he's like, it's very cold in here.
Look, honestly, when you see me as a dragon, it's much more impressive. Honestly. Yeah.
He had said in chapter 9 that I think he did say that he wanted to make her come again and again and again and again. And he does achieve that. But also I like the... Yes, and 3 of them were purely oral. Yes. And then one of them was a surprise orgasm. I always enjoy a surprise orgasm. When and just when he's fully sheathed, she's like, coming, like she didn't know it was gonna happen.
Do you know, there was one bit that made me absolutely die when he's like, come for me, baby, and then it says, come for me, baby, and Marian immediately did so. He comes on command.
I wrote that down. Coming on command is one of my favourite sexy time book tropes. Like, it happens.
Mean, if only that was easy.
Yeah.
Hang on. 1, 2, 3. I did it. Yeah. And one of the the large collection of orgasms was the holy grail of the simultaneous come. Yeah.
Very
Yes.
rare.
Very
but
rare.
always in literature.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
However, I was pleased to see that she didn't come untouched, which is a thing that seems to happen. Who was that writer that we used to read, Becks, who turned out to be some like right wing?
Oh, Louise Bagshaw.
Her, other than heavy metal, the other thing that always featured in her books was women coming untouched. But I did like, because when he's kissing her at the beginning of chapter 10, it says that it says here he was as expert with his tongue as he was at like running the ranch. I don't know, but anyway, I was like, that bodes well. We like it when and then it did bode well. That was nice for her.
Yeah, she did good there. She did well. Yeah.
But we do have one particularly terrifying moment during the sexy times, where it says her hands were grasping his shirt, and I wrote a note going, "Careful," because we know that Harrison's shirts do not do well.
Very precariously buttoned.
Yeah. I mean, it came apart when he punched someone. It came apart when they were kissing. And yet, when she was grasping at it during all the sexiness, it was perfectly fine. I mean, it's an extraordinary collection of shirts that this man has.
So we do have a little bit more sex later, but...
Shack sex.
The very particular style of sex, shack sex.
Yes.
But can we please note that he did leave his Stetson on during the oral?
Oh, yes. Yes. He did leave his hat on, as requested.
You can leave your hat on.
I mean, yes.
Well, she wanted him to. She asked him to leave his hat on, didn't she? So, yeah.
She wanted him to be naked with just his hat on. I don't think he was naked when he was going down on her. I don't think he'd got all of his clothes, because she was grasping his shirt. So, you know. But all I was thinking was she wouldn't be able to see.
His Stetsons are quite big.
Stetsons are huge.
She definitely wouldn't have seen the claw. Right, shall we go a little bit further in and hit the next little talking point, the revelation and the big bad.
What is the revelation?
Well, the revelation is that she finds out about their shifter status and seems remarkably unperturbed.
She takes it so well.
So well.
But then you have to remember, when she came to the ranch, she purposefully didn't mention dragons because she thought that would be a bit weird, because her dad had said something about dragons to her. That's I mean, maybe in the back of her head she was like, oh, look at that, he was right.
Yeah,
they are dragons.
Yeah, subconsciously I was like, I've already accepted this, perhaps. But
like, it was true.
Yeah.
Rather than what the fuck? It was just like, oh, he wasn't lying.
He wasn't lying when a very drunk Beck crash lands in the centre of the ranch in his gigantic mountain dragon, as we discover, form.
Yeah. And I did make a note there that so it turns out that yes, Beck does fly drunk.
Yes.
That is the bit. When I got to that bit, I was laughing so hard, and I wanted to text you immediately, but I wanted to save the conversation for this. You know, for me to be like, you called it. You said it. Does he fly drunk? Yes, he does.
Yes, he does. Yeah, I did. I think that was rather amusing, and then calling like an immediate council in the common room, which I noticed as well, which I really enjoyed the little note that Dallas turned up clothed head to toe as if ready for work, and I just imagine him that at no point, like he's always ready for action, polishing a knife, just all moments of the day, like
always polishing a knife,
sharpening a gun, you know.
Sharpening a gun.
Is that something you can't tend to do with guns?
He's polishing his knife and he's sharpening his guns.
Yeah.
And people are like, Dallas, are you okay?
I haven't slept for 40 years.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I just thought, remarkably calm acceptance of all that, and also I think with the dragons, remember she's still only been there 1 week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, and they're like, yeah, but I trust you. We trust you, right? You're a good person.
You're one of us. You're one of us. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I was like,
You've been through so much, Marian. We know that you'll be
God.
able to deal with this.
But I'm interested to know, what is Clancy's dragon?
Yes.
Clancy is a surprise dragon.
Yeah, the surprise dragon. Ha-da-da! Oh, he's a horrible, like, clown dragon. Oh.
I like to think that Clancy is like, because he's like the one with the particularly standard model good looks that all the other women, throw themselves at. And
other women, yeah.
The other women, not the special women like Marian. And I like to think that maybe he's like a tiny, like Mushu from Mulan.
Oh.
He's like a little.
Oh,
like a little tiny dragon, and he only breathes fire when he sneezes or something, so he doesn't really like to tell people about it.
He's actually quite embarrassed.
Yeah. He's really not a cool dragon.
He doesn't turn into his dragon much. It's not cool.
No, it's a real crook dragon. It's like
so like there's the mountain dragon and the Texas Plains dragon and the baby dragon.
Well, maybe he's just like incredibly handsome in human form, but so fucked up as a dragon.
Yeah, he's really gnarly.
It's just super crook.
Or he's like Heimlich, in A Bug's Life, when he gets the caterpillar, when he gets his little wings. Like, oh, just come in the wings.
Oh my god! Oh, I can see that. That would be amazing. He's just this chubby little dragon with the tiny little wings.
Oh, I don't know if we'll find out in this particular book, but
no, I think we might have to wait until Clancy's book.
Yeah.
Fully get. But again, this idea that, I mean, we're only on chapter 11 and chapter 12, because chapter 11 is sex. Chapter 12 is when the dragons appear, and again, it's like there's just no messing around. She finds out that they're dragons, she accepts it, and they move on.
Yeah.
Next.
I mean, I quite like that. That's quite refreshing, because sometimes, in traditional stories, you're like, okay, we all know this. Can we just move on now? And just cut all that out.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a perfect read in a day book.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah.
Going on sort of from the revelation of there being dragons, and I know this does skip a little bit. I think we can like head back to some storm sex, because this is post storm sex, but they discover the footprints of what I'm gonna call the big bad of the book.
Yes.
Some kind of sleeping creature that that
only comes out when it rains.
It rains. But I noticed there's a quote that says, "Something horrible lay sleeping beneath the soil of the Texas wilderness," and I was like, do they mean oil? And then I thought, wait a second, what is oil made of? Dinosaurs. Is it a dinosaur? I want it to be a dinosaur.
Because I think it's sort of hinted at that this is the creature that Harrison was fighting.
Yeah.
When he fell into the river, and Marian's father rescued him. So it's kind of interesting that it's returning when Marian has turned up. When her father was there before. I don't know. Is there some kind of link there? I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into that, but.
Oh, I like that.
I'm intrigued to see where that comes. But I love this idea of a dinosaur. Yes, I'm on board for that.
Oh, it's just a massive Gary.
Oh,
yeah.
Gary could never be evil.
I think that it was made quite clear in the first few chapters that maybe Gary just is evil.
Yeah.
Do you think?
Yeah, he was rooting around in the lady's drawers in the night.
He was very bad-tempered.
Yeah. You know how he said that maybe he's a shifter and he's like a raccoon. He spends most of his time as a raccoon and then he goes into a human every now and again. Maybe he's a raccoon and then he shifts into a massive raccoon.
That's disappointing, isn't it? Can you imagine that? I don't know. If that was my shifting ability, I think you'd just like to turn into a massive Lisa. I'd be like, oh no. Oh, this is boring.
Oh my God, is that it?
Yeah. I've got wings. Where are my wings? It's boring. I want my money back.
The great thing about when the guys are talking about the big bad, which they don't tell Marian about, and that's a big thing. Don't tell Marian about it, because Marian is, and I quote,
yes,
a helpless woman. And yet, back on page 24, she is badass and utterly reckless. On page 65, Harrison calls her the most strong, amazing woman that existed in the whole wide world. On page 107, he calls her a powerful woman. And then later on, he says about her dad, he gave you more than enough metal to survive against the odds. Which is she?
Yeah.
Is she powerful?
But ultimately, that all still makes her helpless.
Yeah, maybe. Well, against a dinosaur, maybe.
Oh, perhaps, yeah. I think it's the term helpless woman, rather than referring to her as a human being who is squashy and without claws, talons, and gigantic teeth and whatever. That's where that's the lacking part, rather than the fact that it's the woman aspect.
Yeah.
That's the problem. It's like she's a helpless woman rather than a soft, helpless human being who wouldn't stand a chance against whatever this thing is. And like I say, it's this sort of weird thing where what is she? Is she helpless or is she a wildcat? Like, what is she?
Yeah, like you liked her because she wasn't like other girls, because she was badass and utterly reckless. But now, all of a sudden, she's a helpless woman. I didn't like it.
I agree. I also didn't like it. I also didn't like. There was another little sort of throwaway thought comment that Marian has when they're discussing. Actually, this is just going back a little bit when they're talking about them being dragons, and I can't remember what it is that Harrison says, but her response to that was, "He was right, as usual."
Yeah.
Oh.
It's been a week, and he has clearly not always been right.
It's like he can be right. It's the as usual part that I was like, oh no.
Yeah. But this book has a tendency to not, because of the no messing around, sometimes I think we miss out on a bit of nuance and we don't get the evidence to back up some of the things that are said. So I have a couple of notes about this. When they're talking about the big bad, the reason they don't want to tell Marian, other than the fact that she is a helpless woman, is there were enough terrors in Marian's world. The tired ant. Do they mean themselves? Dragons?
Yeah. I was thinking them, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's very self-deprecating of them. But then also, there's a point where Harrison says that balancing her well-being with his work had already proved incredibly difficult. Had it? Where is the evidence for that?
He did go out and buy her a hat. How that contributes necessarily to her well-being, I'm not sure. Oh no, it's to protect her delicate skin from the sun. So he was thinking about her, of course. But
I have to say, I was a bit confused by the hat because he had that specially made for her, and it implied that it took time. How did she know she was coming? Like,
how much time does it take to make?
When did he got this?
There is. I mean, obviously, in every small Texan town, there is a specialist hat maker.
How far away are they from the nearest town, you know?
So he can fly to them in the dark. There is a weird thing, actually. When Beck lands, she can hear the whooshing, but it's only when he lands. She says it's like a veil clears and she can see him. So can they make themselves invisible? And therefore,
I wondered that.
Could he fly to the hat makers without any problem?
Yeah, and people just think that there's a strong breeze coming past. When actually it's an invisible dragon. I also like that Beck was so drunk that he gave up on spelling dragon, and all he had to do was say O and N. He got the D, the R, the A, the G. He's like, oh no, those last two letters, I can't. I'm too drunk. That tickled me a lot.
But also, I have to say, at this point, when we're talking about them being around the table and talking about what they are, I have to say honourable mention for the Metallica t-shirt.
Yes, I did notice that. Yes, it was very exciting. Yeah.
I mean, I'm already feeling that Reno might be my favourite already, and he's just gone up in my estimation. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely the most connected to Reno. He seems like the nicest guy, but also he seems the least dramatic. I mean, Dallas doesn't say anything, so we don't know, but he's constantly polishing a knife and sharpening a gun, so he seems pretty dramatic. But Reno seems just like a laid-back kind of guy. Yeah. But the dragons are so unbelievably dramatic. It's something for the next section, so I won't say it just yet.
Okay, shall we dive into the next section?
Yes.
Yes. Now, okay, I literally laughed out loud. I laughed so hard I scared my cat. And I had a good 5-minute laugh. Why horses like you.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I highlighted the entire passage and I just wrote a note going, is Lisa dead?
Truly, it was the most wonderful monologue. I feel like if I was to ever re-audition for a drama school, I would want to use this.
We should do a dramatic reading of it. It's so incredibly bad.
Oh my God, please, can I do a little special where I just read it? Oh my God, I don't know if I could keep a straight face though, but oh my God, you've braved things much worse than horses or summer storms. Yeah, tired aunts and shitty boyfriends. Like, I mean,
he does specify what she has got through.
Yes,
she has got through grief, loneliness,
and uncertainty.
Uncertainty. 3 things that
oh my God,
no human has ever had to deal with those 3 things.
No. I mean, just within the last sort of 6 months, you know, they have experienced all of those 3 things.
Yeah, we are still currently living through a pandemic. I think uncertainty is just where we're at now forever.
And I think as well that that it really does show quite how out of touch dragons are with humans.
Yeah. And human women's struggles in general in this current day and age. I mean, that quote that you said earlier about her father giving her the strength or whatever it is, her mettle, you know, that's part of that monologue as well. And it's just,
and yes, because metal does come up again. You have the calm metal of someone that's been through hard times but never let them break you. Ooh, that tired aunt is really coming in for some shit in this book.
Just how dare she be tired? I mean, it's disgusting.
Oh, the trauma of my tired aunt and my shitty boyfriends.
I feel like at some point we need to do a rebuttal, so maybe the 3 of us can collaborate on a book from the perspective of the tired aunt.
I mean,
I would read that.
Yeah, I would read that. I would also read that. Yeah, and Gary. I think Gary needs a book as well.
I think Gary should go live with the tired aunt.
Yeah, maybe Gary is having a relationship with the tired aunt, and that's why she's so tired.
That's it. But...
why horses like you? Yeah, it's something that we should all aspire to. And I've decided to try and live my life in such a way that horses will like me.
But I mean, the thing is, to get horses to like you, you need to have been through some shit. And I just don't know if you've. I mean, I know you fairly well, and I don't think you've been through enough shit.
It does. Yeah, I haven't been through the ringer.
Yeah, have you had a life as hard as Marian's? Because let's face it, hers has been tough.
She survived against the odds, all of the odds.
Yeah. I mean, I've known you as a freelancing actress and circus performer.
We all know that's a
no uncertainty there. I've been with you when you've broken up with boyfriends. That you've never suffered loneliness or grief. So I just don't. I just don't think that currently your life has been hard enough for a horse to like you.
Why am I even bothering?
Yeah, just don't go near a horse. It will kick you in the face.
Kick me to shit.
Because you have not suffered enough for it to give you the time of day.
He'll just literally sneer at me, kick me and walk off. Oh, although, I mean, Cookie didn't, Cookie did throw her, but then I guess that wasn't Cookie's fault because he saw the big foot.
Yeah, I think there was some weird stuff with that, that was again like, oh, you handle horses so well, like considering you've only been on a horse for like 20 minutes. And it was just again like, she's ridden horses before. Get over it.
Yeah. Look out, there's some loose earth here. Don't worry, I'm on it. Oh, I navigated that perfectly because now I am an expert horsewoman.
Yes. She's a quick study, is Marian. She can drive a tractor now.
Yeah.
She can ride a horse. She's the perfect, as Harrison calls her, little cowgirl.
Yes. Well, shall we? We could possibly dive into their last little bit because I think that segues quite nicely into the last one.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Now this was touched upon in previous chapters, but it really came to the fore during, because obviously sex is very body orientated, and I just 1 minute she has an ample bosom, and then she has a tiny body, and then she has a rounded ass, and then it's like I can't keep up with this shrinking and enlarging.
Yeah, I'm just going to read out what it is in case people are just listening. So this is Marian's Alice in Wonderland body, because it changes size every 3 pages, and it's exhausting.
That's the one quote I've written down is in regards to Marian's body. So it's one from I think it was probably in chapter 10. So yeah, he picked her up from her seat like she weighed nothing, even though she knew she was a curvy girl.
Yeah, I wrote that one down as well.
Yeah. And then there's another bit, I think, where I can't remember the quote exactly. You might have it, Kara, but where he comments on her body, and she's like, "Oh, really?" Like,
oh yes, no, I didn't write that one down, but I do remember what you're talking about. Like, he's like, "You're beautiful," and she's like,
yeah.
Like with the bit where she was like, "Oh, should I eat that sandwich?" Because any excuse to skip a meal because I'm curvy means that when they're saying curvy, she's internally saying fat. So is she fat? Because I am 5'2" and fat. I am a curvy short girl. I am a dumpling. Is Marian a dumpling? And if she is, can we not just properly describe her as such?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just own it. Yeah, own it.
Yeah, and even if she can't own it, the author can.
Yeah.
And clearly Harrison loves
is enjoying.
Yeah, because love doesn't care what size your body is.
No.
Or it certainly shouldn't. Yeah.
I do imagine her as just having, these massive boobs and massive bum, and then the smallest waist ever.
Yeah.
how she doesn't snap in the middle is beyond me most of the time.
Yeah, she's like a tiny, tiny Barbie.
Yes. But I mean, like, she could be, as a human being, tiny in, proportion to Harrison, who is a gigantic, enormous, oversized dragon, but that's not how it's written, is it?
No.
So
I mean, it is always him that's talking about her tiny body, and but it is also him that's always talking about her curvy body. So it's just very confusing. because like I say, people do exist, like myself, short in stature, round in nature, and that. So just tell us if somebody looks like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't hide it behind words like curvy, but then tell us she's tiny, because it just causes confusion.
And then kind of make sort of vague insinuations that in some way being curvy is a bad thing.
Yeah.
Which is quite uncomfortable, actually. I actually find that quite uncomfortable to read.
Yeah, it's never a fun thing to read, and certainly as a tiny curvy lady, it's never nice to read a bit where where that character is like, do you know what, I shouldn't nourish my body.
Because stolen sandwiches taste the best.
And just to be very clear to anyone listening and watching, all food is good food, just put it in your face. It's fine.
Enjoy it. You live once.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, just enjoy your food, people. It's all going to be fine.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and just to top it all off, just to round it off, and this is stepping off of the topic of Marian's ever changing body form, is that 2 weeks in, the I Love You has come out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh. I mean, that's giving me
2
palpitations.
weeks.
Oh, run away! Oh.
There is a point. I'm gonna talk amongst yourselves, because I'm gonna try and find the quote, because I forgot to write it down. Oh no, I found it. Don't worry, I found it. When he says "I love you," she laughed in relief, and then she said, "I love you too, Harrison. I have for a while now." Again.
Yes.
She's a quick study.
Maybe time just moves differently out on the plane, and 2 weeks feels like 2 years.
I mean, she has only been around these guys.
With what, Stockholm syndrome?
Yes, maybe, yes. maybe this entire book, she's like, if I don't say that I love him, and if I don't fake all these orgasms for him, he won't fix my car. No, so sad.
Yeah. By the way, just aside, during the pathetic fallacy storm sex, I counted 8 orgasms. 8!
I lost count, so I'm glad you did that for me.
I had to go back and reread it and be like, 1, and 1 again, 2, 5. Oh, I feel tired just reading this. Right? Like, I'm a one and done kind of gal. Like,
yeah, because she's like, oh, I think I've reached my limit, and he's like, do you even know what your limit is? And that's when that's when it talks about how no man has given her an orgasm before, and so she doesn't know what her limit is, but she does. It does seem like 8 might be enough, but at no point does she lose consciousness. So is it really your limit if you don't pass out after an orgasm? I mean, he's just not trying hard enough.
She's like, keep going, 1 more, I'm still conscious. Oh.
Yes, he does actually say that, doesn't he? Do you think you've got another one in you? Because they've got to do the simulcon.
So, like, orgasms, like, you get to the end of the toothpaste roll and it's like, oh, hang on a minute. Got it.
But he does. Harrison understands. He knows where it is and how to use it. He understands the clitoris.
Which was quite funny, because like he was fine with like going on about her clit and stuff, but everything else was just her centre.
Yes.
Which was a very interesting use of that word.
It's a word that comes up a lot in smut. That it's always the woman's centre, and I'm like, of gravity? What?
Yeah.
I think it is described maybe once as slit, which I find very unpleasant.
Yeah. I did. There was one moment when they were just heading towards the shack sex where it was raining and Marian was sodden, but it did say Marian was soaked and not just from the rain.
Yes.
And I was like, she's moist, she's damp, she's sodden.
There is no nice word. There is no nice word. Especially moist.
Moist is a word that really does turn a lot of people off.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
No. Her moist slit, Lisa.
Ah! I'm clenching. I'm literally clenching right now. Nothing's getting in there, I'm telling you.
Oh, I've never dried up so fast.
No moistness.
There's no moistness, there's no fanny flutters, nothing's happening.
Instant desert. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching and listening. It's been fantastic to have you along on this journey. If you would like to find us on the Discord, the information will be in the show notes. Boop, 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 down there. And also, if you want to find us on the gram, on TikTok, and all the social medias, we're at Home Travelers. Thank you so much.